Well, if you're watching this, you're probably as curious as I was the first time I saw somebody doing this. But I have now converted to loading all my long-range ammo on a Dillon 550. This is a brand new AT 550. It is the C equivalent, so it's got the Zerks in it for greasing. It has the upgraded tool head slot, a few other things on it that are better. I've owned, let's see, a 650 square deals, and I don't know, a couple 550. I think I had an A and a couple Bs that I've loaded on over the years. I really like some of these upgrades. The tool heads fit really good. I'm using the Whitten die setup with the free floating rings, but you know, even with the standard pins, this system has tightened up considerably. The conversion kit pieces are made, I feel, a little bit better. They're machined just a little bit better on the tolerances. For people that are reloading precision on here, most guys are going to upgrade this to a turbo bearing setup, which I definitely found made a huge difference. And then the actual plate, a lot of guys will take and kind of hone the bottom of it until there's no slop in it. I was really fortunate. I really didn't have to do much at all to mine, and it fits like a glove. I don't know if that's a result of just being a new one of the new C's, if they're just doing things better, or if I just got lucky. But that's really the only upgrades I did to it. The AT version versus the RL doesn't have the priming system, which I don't care about right now, and a couple other little things that it didn't come with, but for me it was worth it. Like I said, I'm using the Whitten tool head system with the free floating die, so you can see this is my bullet seating die, lots of wiggle. You can see my expander gauge pin setup in a Hornady bullet puller, lots of wiggle to it. That's the way you want it. Here's my you know, it's harder to see me wiggle it, but that's my sizing die. Same thing. They all have a lot of play in it. It probably helps address the number one concern that I had when switching to this, is what's going to happen to my Runout. I've been using a you know, really high-end arbor press and Wilson inline dies, and my Runout's been really good. You know, I'm probably like a lot of people where my average case Runout is, you know, somewhere around 1,000ths or less after sizing. My loaded round Runout has usually been in the 3,000ths, maybe a little bit less, depending on how fast and what kind of mood I'm in, because that does seem to have some effect on it. And going to this, I know nobody's going to believe me, it's actually gotten better. I've gone to my last batch that I tested on loaded Runout was under 2,000ths. Lots of them were at or just under 1,000ths Runout, loaded round at the bearing surface. My sizing brass has been about the same. I haven't gained or lost anything there, so I've really been happy with that. My powder drop system is the standard single drop powder funnel that comes with the AT 550, or if you have an RL 550, you can order this separately. It's the piece that's designed for if you're going to throw like an RCBS unit on top of here. Obviously we don't want to do that because those things are not the most reliable, but we take this. I've got an area 419 funnel, just their standard extension on it. The reason I like the extension here is that it gets me up and above my bullet seater. There are some other people out there loading who have actually had to grind down either their Redding or Forster or whatever they're using and kind of put like a taper on this to make room for a funnel. I don't see the point. I just bring it up a little bit and everything's fine. There is virtually nowhere for powder to bridge in this either. So the way this sits, it drops out of a nice clean funnel drop here. It goes right into an orifice that is actually larger than this, so there are no steps involved. And the actual funnel piece that goes up inside that is caliber specific has absolutely no room for a piece of powder to stick either. So as long as I drop it nice and smooth, I don't have any issues. Everything goes in. I've loaded I don't know, close to 400 rounds already using this system. I can't remember having a single piece of powder fall out after the fact, which was very reassuring. My first 50 to 100 rounds, I would literally bring out a round, take a can of air, blow in here, and see if anything came out each time. After about, I don't know what it was, somewhere between 50 and 100 rounds, and not having any powder come out, I felt pretty confident that I wasn't getting any bridging. I will still periodically blow some canned air in. Again, still haven't had anything happen. The only thing that I did do to prevent that is I go to the dollar store and pick up some anti-static dryer sheets, and I have periodically wiped down the inside of this. I run it through my funnel tube here and down through this, just to ensure that there is no static buildup. Although it isn't plastic, it shouldn't happen. I just like to make sure I've ruled out any problems. So no bridging in the powder. And again, my bullet seeder, nice and free floated. I use a micrometer. I think a lot of people do, whether it's this or the Redding, whatever you're using. I've had really good luck getting it set up with these free floated die rings, and we're pretty much ready to go. So with this setup, I have probably trimmed my time by a third. I know that seems silly since I'm priming off the system. So everything I'm working with today, you can see, is pre-primed. But I seriously, you know, I shoot, gosh, what am I shooting now? I think it's 64 mini matches. So that's some 22 round matches that we shoot every week at 600 yards as a group. And I'm shooting another up to a dozen times, either long range or Palma matches throughout the year, not to mention just practice and load development. I needed something that gave me some time back in my life. My whole goal with reloading, and there's a couple other guys I shoot with who have the same philosophy, and you know, we're all in the high master shooting range. We're all capable of doing this. And what we've kind of looked at is, what is the minimum number of steps that I need to do to reload, so that at the end of the day, my only real variable is my wind call. And I've probably done just about everything you can think of. Every kind of brass prep, every kind of bullet sorting, every kind of brass sorting, different loading techniques, different scales. I will say the only thing I haven't loaded on is a Prometheus yet, but I've tried just about everything else that's out there. I'm not afraid to buy stuff and sell stuff so that I can try it and play with it. As a result, I've had the advantage of feeling, for me personally, what makes a difference. Now, I know other guys who are going to load differently because that's where they have confidence, and that's fine. I know for me, for instance, I shoot, you know, right in the same range without sorting my brass by weight, without uniforming my primer pockets, and without turning my necks. So going to a no-turn neck now. I feel very confident in those statements for me personally. Now, that's probably going to be different for other people, and there's probably things that I do in my reloading process that other people feel on their own is irrelevant. So, you know, that's the beauty of reloading. There's, you know, 40 different steps. You can pick the ones that work for you. I'm just showing you what works for me, and you can glean what you want from it and hopefully add it or subtract it from your process to help make you a better shooter and free up some time for personal stuff. I was spending way too much time away from my family and needed something that helped get it moving. So my 22 rounds, or I load 25 rounds every week to shoot at my club matches. I went from about 45 minutes, give or take, to load 25 rounds. I can now do it in about 15. So, you know, a half hour every week, and that's 2 hours a month that I'm getting back, plus some other stuff. So, you know, not counting big matches where I'm loading 200, 400, 800 rounds, you can just see where that time saving comes in. I will say, as confident as I sound in this now, I was not an immediate believer. I probably pushed back harder than a lot of people would to the people that I really trust, who are incredibly gifted shooters, shoot on, you know, a couple well-known teams for F Open. You know, people that I really respect and are you know, better shooters than I am. But I'm a show me guy, and every one of them said, look, you're not afraid to spend the money. Go buy it and try it, and if you're not convinced, you can come tell us it didn't work for you. So what did I do? I went out, I bought everything, and I had to admit that I was shooting as well, if not just a little better as before, and doing it for a little less money at this point, not to mention saving the time. So you know, that's just me. I'll kind of just show you real quick. I might do a few more videos that show a little bit more of the setup, but like I said, I've got a pre-primed brass. Some of the guys that are loading on these are priming. I have not gone that route yet. It does require a little more honing, and obviously I don't have a priming setup on here, but even to do single priming at a time, I just haven't gone that route yet. So I start with a round. It goes up on my sizing. It's a gauging pin right here that is going to expand. I happen to expand to 284 because I like 1/2 thousandths neck tension. We're going to bring that one around to the powder. We're going to set another one in. We're going to bring it up. We are going to wait, since I forgot to drop powder real quick, but this will only take a second. For those that haven't seen my other videos, I drop on an FX scale with an auto trickler setup. You know, I know that's not a big surprise lately. I do have the Bluetooth upgrade, which I love. Anyway, I do drop my powder nice and slow, or, you know, just nice and steady so that it all goes down into the funnel. We're gonna bring that down, put in our next one. I've got my sorted bullets. I give them just a little bit of a dip in a dry lube, set them in, and now we're doing 3 steps at a time. So I do bring out my loaded round, turn it, set it, get our next round in, and away we go. I won't keep going because, well, there's no point in repetition. So anyway, hope this helps you. If you have any questions, let me know.